Does your library marketing feel kind of like a patchwork quilt? Like maybe you have one person who's handling social media and one person who's making flyers and one person who's handling all the program promotion, and you're all trying to work together, but you're individuals and everything is supposed to look consistent and effective. If that sounds like your world, then this episode is for you. Today, I'm going to give you some very simple ways to work better as a team, even when you're working apart, and even if you don't have any clear leadership or shared expectations. That's ahead on this episode of the Library Marketing Show. Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Hursh from the blog superlibrarymarketing.com. Head on over there. If you're not a subscriber already, hit subscribe so you get a notification every time I post something. I'm also always looking for kudos. You can click Contact Angela and send me information to nominate a library, maybe it's your library, for our Kudos Award. Of course, we'll begin today's episode with kudos, which are going to the Indianapolis Public Library. Maybe you saw this story, but the Indianapolis Public Schools released some data to show they had more than 10% increase in reading proficiency during the 2024-2025 school year. And they credit that to their partnership with the Indianapolis Public Library. There's a big long story about it from Wish TV. I'll put a link to that down below. I just wanted to call them out, number one, because that is a huge increase over 1 year. And number two, it comes from a partnership, and we know how valuable partnerships can be for libraries. But number three, they did a great job of following along and measuring how the partnership impacted the children they were working with. That proves the value of the library's work, and I just want to give them kudos for that. So great job, Indianapolis Public Library. All right, so let's get into today's topic, which is something called distributed marketing. Basically, that's a fancy word for different people doing different tasks on top of their real jobs. That is a big thing that happens in many, many libraries. And from a marketing perspective, that's a great way to delegate the work, but it also can lead to inconsistencies in branding, duplicated work quality cannot be at its top, and priorities might be misaligned. So if you're in that situation, how the heck are you supposed to deal with that and do a good job at library marketing? My top tip is you've got to create an online space where everybody can work together, like a little central place. I don't know if it's OneDrive, if you have SharePoint, just a place where everybody can have your shared branding documents, colors, logos, fonts, all of those things. So everything looks consistent. A short style guide to help everybody with voice and grammar, a shared calendar so that you can align your promotions around each other and make sure that there's a consistent, valuable message going out to your community. And then a folder of templates so that you can do your work easily and to create that consistent look across your promotions. My next tip, and I know nobody likes to add extra meetings to their calendars, but when you're in this situation, it's a good idea to do some weekly check-ins with your team, even if it's only 15 minutes, just to talk about what you're doing that week and who's doing what. That can be a real time saver and a real help in that inconsistency battle. Another tip is to do a lot of sharing. In this situation, I mentioned earlier, templates, share templates, reuse blurbs or program descriptions, and certainly program names. Have a centralized image bank and maybe folders where you keep everything so that everybody knows exactly where to look and you're not having to create the wheel from scratch. You can use the work of the other folks on your team to help you get done faster and still be effective. Now, I am a big advocate of libraries having their own marketing department. Sometimes that's just one person. I always feel, even small libraries, that this is important, especially at small libraries, for one person to be working on this as their whole job. But I know that's not the reality for many libraries. So that's why I put this list together, because I know many of you are in this situation. Just remember sharing, building some structures around the promotions that you're doing and making sure that you are all aware of what everybody else is doing is really the key to working on marketing as a team. And I'm curious, Does your library work on marketing as a team? If so, what do you all do to try to remain consistent and effective? Please let me know down in the comments. I'm sure my viewers will be really interested to hear what you have to say. And that's it for this episode of the Library Marketing Show. But my channel is full of other tips for library marketing. If you're interested in learning more, head to the next video and I will meet you there.